Namaskar viewers, hello and welcome to Sansad TV. I am Tina Jha, you are watching Perspective. In a significant milestone in India's green mobility journey, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated Maruti Suzuki's first made-in-India battery electric vehicle, the E Vitara, earlier this week. The EV, being manufactured at the company's Hansalpur plant in Gujarat, will be exported to more than 100 countries, including Europe and Japan. Additionally, the Prime Minister also inaugurated localized production of hybrid battery electrodes at the TDS Lithium-Ion Battery plant, a joint venture of Toshiba, Denso and Suzuki, ensuring that more than 80% of battery value is manufactured within India, helping in achieving the shared goal of Make in India, Make for the World. Now, these landmark developments not only position India as a major player in the global EV supply chain, they also mark a decisive leap towards Aatmanirbhar Bharat and clean energy innovation. To discuss further these green mobility initiatives and how significant they are in making India Atmanirbhar in the field of green energy and mobility, we are joined by a distinguished panel. So let me begin by introducing them to you. I am pleased to welcome on the program today Mr. Sudhendu Jyoti Sinha. He is joining us in the studio and he is Advisor, Transport and Infrastructure, Connectivity, Niti Aayog. Mr. Sinha, thank you for your time. Welcome to the program. Joining us virtually are two more guests, Mr. Vinkesh Gulati, Auto Expert, Vice President, Automotive Skill Development Council and former President, Federation of Automobile Dealerships Associations, and Mr. Rahul Bharti, Senior Executive Officer, Corporate Affairs, Maruti Suzuki. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the program as well. In fact, Mr. Bharti, if I could begin the program first by congratulating you and everyone at Maruti Suzuki for this significant milestone. Now, if you could also explain to us and our viewers, you could talk to us about how critical is this step in Maruti Suzuki's overall strategy for India and the world?
Thanks, Ms. Tina. And if Mr. Sinha agrees, and both of us have been in discussion for a long time, I think it's a very historic moment for India and the Indian automotive industry at a time when all conversations were around import of EVs and whether we should facilitate, import of EVs, whether we should reduce custom duties. Let the debate continue. We thought we'll concentrate on turning the paradigm 180 degrees and we'll make India actually an export hub. So Suzuki globally is not making this battery electric vehicle anywhere in the world. And all of Suzuki's global markets will be serviced from Indian manufacturing in Gujarat. And it's a very strategic moment because high-tech manufacturing, future clean energy vehicles, if they are manufactured in India and exported to all over the world, it sends a very strong message of confidence, one, in Indian manufacturing, right. Two, in BEV adoption in India, and three, in our ability to capture more part of the global trade into India's GDP.
Absolutely. We'll try and also hear from you how different is this battery electric vehicle from the others that are present in the market. But before that, let's talk about how big a milestone this is. Let me bring in Mr. Sinha into the discussion. I've had the privilege, sir, to hear from you so many times about India's EV journey. But tell us about how significant is this moment in India's Make in India, Make for the World initiative.
So, thanks a lot. Thanks for inviting me today. As I have been saying, and as Mr. Bharti so clearly mentioned, I was waiting for this day. I was waiting when Maruti Suzuki, they finally get into the stream and they announce their model. So I have been nudging them since quite some time, and it's such a great moment that on 26th of this month, Honorable Prime Minister inaugurated it, and the first model is now in position, that is E Vitara. So if you would say, then I will say that it is one of the most significant milestones, if I may say. So that is how I would rate it. And it's amazing kind of impact that it is going to have, not only from the consumer perspective, the one who are going to purchase these vehicles, but also from the perspective of showing a kind of India's prowess, India's technological strength in the entire world. So that is what is going to happen. In addition to that, of course, in addition to the consumer confidence, if I may say, that the economic and the industrial growth, that takes a leap forward, and at the same time the domestic, the localization of EV ecosystem. Because if you recollect my earlier discussion with you, I have been telling it time and again that the idea is not to make India an EV adopting nation. Had it been so, it would have been very easy for the government. You see, it doesn't require big lot of money. But how to make India a manufacturing hub, that has been a challenge. And with this particular milestone, we take a major leap in achieving this challenge.
In fact, that takes me to the question to Mr. Gulati. Suzuki making India its global EV hub is in itself a powerful statement, something that has been asserted by Mr. Sinha as well. From an industry viewpoint, how does this change India's position in the global auto value chain?
See, it's really an historic moment, and it's said that it's better late than never, and Maruti has come with a bang. I feel if you see the other OEMs, normally Maruti has always been the front runner for all the innovations and everything. But this time they have really come with a bang, and no other manufacturer thought of what Maruti has done on this date. And not only globally, for India also it's a great moment, and the kind of confidence it has built up in the auto retail position or overall auto community in India is awesome. And the kind of customers' confidence in EV which will come with Maruti not just launching a product but coming into batteries also will be a different level. The kind of myths we have been facing for the past 5-6 years on EV about the quality, the range anxiety, the charging, everything changes overnight with Maruti coming in. No doubt, make in India, make for the world. This is the best example what our Modi ji has been trying to effect it in India for past some time. And like what Apple did to India when they came in, the mobile industry on the whole, the manufacturing changed overnight. The other manufacturers also benefited. I'm sure with Maruti coming to this level with battery and the EVs, it will help the Indian auto industry in the manufacturing side also. And obviously the bigger part, if I talk about the retail front, the customer front, the kind of confidence it will build up in Indian customers, because they've actually grown up with Maruti since they were growing up or they were born. Maruti in it, and with a brand Maruti Suzuki printed on a battery or a car will support the electrification in India to a different level.
Okay, now to the next question perhaps that will generate a lot of interest amongst a lot of our viewers. To you, Mr. Bharti, what makes the E Vitara different from the other EVs that are currently there in the market in terms of three key aspects: technology, affordability, and most importantly, customer experience, given the brand value and the image that Maruti already enjoys?
Right. So first of all, if you have to make your product successful in about 100 countries of the world, then it has to, stand up truly on the litmus paper test of technology, quality, performance, etc. So this product has been designed fresh as an EV. It's not an IC engine convert, because an IC engine convert, has several design compromises. It is on a fresh Hardtech E platform. And since the weight of EVs is higher, so it uses a generous amount of tensile and ultra high tensile steel. Initially, we want to give a high range so that customers just forget about range anxiety. They may not be, so it's about 500 kilometers. They may not be using it, but they'll probably forget about range anxiety if they get more than what they want. Second, of course, there are many safety features. We were crazy about safety. So 7 airbags as standard, level 2 ADAS, the battery protection system, the structural integrity of the battery, so that there is crash safety and there is fire safety. So this is on the front of technology. However, since a lot of customer anxiety exists on post-purchase, What happens if I'm stranded on the road? What happens if the battery charge runs out? What happens if there is some malfunction which ordinary mechanics are not able to handle? So there are some measures. We have something called an E for Me campaign, which means if any customer has any doubt in his mind, is electric for me? The answer is yes. E is for me. And there are some pillars of this. The first is, of course, a home charger with every car, fast chargers in about at least the top 100 cities of India, and they account for more than 90% of sales. Then, if 90% of the sales happen in the top 100 cities, we have gone 10x, and the top 1,000 cities, and FADA may be happy to know that our service precedes our sales. Right. So, 1,000 cities of India, we are providing 1,500 workshops, because the bigger cities will need more than one workshops. And these people are trained to handle any kind of issue in electric cars. A further deeper, how do you back it up with skilling? So we are training as part of our CSR 4,000 service technicians in ITI, in about 130 ITIs all over India, to generate these service technicians to be supplied to our dealerships so that they are trained enough to handle customer complaints. Now, this gives confidence to the customers that they will be taken care of. And the final strength is we have something called a 24/7 assistance program. Wherever you are on the road, in a desert, on a mountain, in a forest, if you're stranded for any reason, no questions asked, just give us a call and help will reach you immediately, wherever in India. So customers can get the confidence that I need not worry about post-purchase any kind of problem with the car, even if he's with a family outside at midnight, he'll be taken care of. So all these measures will help customer adoption in India.
So that is about how the customer experience is going to be and how customer friendly it is going to be. But since we've spoken about the kind of transformation and the evolution in India's mobility journey, Mr. Bharti, if you could also speak to us about how crucial have government policies in recent years been in bringing about this kind of change, especially the PLI schemes, the industrial corridors, the logistics parks. How have they enabled this launch, which is today being hailed as a strong signal in India's evolution, not just as a key manufacturer, but also as a global hub of something that marks India's entry with a bang?
I would say highly useful, and therefore industry is highly thankful to the government. First of all ministries and of course Niti Aayog, they have spoken in a very convergent, consistent voice that we want transition to clean energies as quick as possible, and the government is there to back it, and they put their money where their mouth is. Okay. I've been on several opportunities with Mr. Sinha also, and they have expressed in totally clear terms that India will adopt clean technologies at the fastest pace possible, and that manufacturers and the private sector is welcome to participate in this growth. That is one. The second part is in the execution also. For example, all the schemes that you mentioned are mostly about central policy schemes. But a lot of facilitation happens in the state governments also. So the legacy that Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Modi left in Gujarat, because he was the former Chief Minister of Gujarat, has left Gujarat in a very, I should say, industrially friendly, has produced a very industrially friendly climate with ease of doing business, with infra. And since you mentioned about logistics, for example, now we are exporting cars to 100 countries of the world. Inside the factory, it's a very controlled environment. But when the cars have to be transported on a trailer, on a truck, chances are they may have some damages, and all the hard work of the factory goes into vain. So the Gati Shakti policy, we have put up a railway siding within our plant, the India's first in-plant automobile, railway siding within our plant. So the beauty is that cars straight from the assembly line can go into a rake. A rake is a train, and from the train that they can go into a ship for exports. And or if it is a domestic market, then they can go from the train to several cities of India or destinations of India. So logistical infrastructure with quality and capacity also helps a lot, as does ease of doing business and local infrastructure.
Okay.
So this I think this is one of the prime reasons why Suzuki globally felt the confidence that they can make India as a manufacturing hub, and all compliments to our government, both state and center, for helping us with this.
In fact, Mr. Sinha, the E Vitara launch is backed by parallel progress in local battery electrode manufacturing as well. That's the other aspect that I wanted to discuss with you. From a policy perspective, how critical is this localization for strengthening India's EV ecosystem?
So you see, absolutely it is strong for taking our ecosystem forward. If you see the vehicle, as I have been informed you earlier also, so almost let's say 40 to 55, 35 to 55% of the cost lies in the battery itself. And battery is what? Battery is a combination of cells. Cells are the primary units, precisely the same which is there in your mobile, for example, or maybe in the laptop also. So this cell, so far, we have not been making in India. So this kind of cell manufacturing that was there in India, it was based on old chemistry, that was the lead acid kind of thing, which had all they had their own challenges. How to create advanced chemistry cells in India, how to manufacture them, that was the challenge. So PLI scheme came in, PLI scheme for advanced chemistry cell at a cost of 18,100 crore rupees to support 50 gigawatt. That was what was initiated. So gigawatt, you can understand, if I give you a sense that when I say 1 gigawatt, you can fairly understand that close to what 1 lakh households will be able to be lit throughout the year with 1 gigawatt. 50 gigawatt, that was the kind of national aspiration that has been rolled out already. So how to create, how to manufacture this cell? Now this particular thing is going to be a step forward. Now we are ready to roll it out, make in India cells. So can you imagine that this is a kind of innovation. It is such a massive technological innovation that I have never seen before. For the first time, Make in India cells will be kind of rolled out, and once they are there and once we are able to achieve a particular scale, then definitely the cost of these vehicles will come down. The quality will be within our control. The supply chain, we will have control over them. We will not have to depend on the imports. The cherished aim of Aatmanirbhar Bharat will be achieved. So it's not a small thing. If you see the impact, the multiplier impact that it is going to bring about in the entire economy and the national confidence, that's something amazing.
So when we aim towards a clean and green mobility, we are investing in EVs, hybrids, hydrogen. Explain to us, how do these different clean mobility pathways complement each other in the long-term strategy, helping us achieve the long-term goals that we have set for ourselves?
So what we have mentioned is basically multiple technology options. Yeah. So what is the big frame? Big frame is mobility. The mobility should be a clean mobility. It should be a connected mobility. It should be an upscale mobility. In fact, Prime Minister, if you recollect, Honorable Prime Minister, on 7th of September 2018, that is the time when during the Global Moves Summit, he laid out that what should be the attribute of this mobility. And yes, now these are all what you have mentioned, they are at multiple levels of their technology development. So naturally they will be complementing to each one another. But whichever is moving fast, we must take advantage of it. We should not be waiting for something to come up after 10 years, after 8 years. By the time we should be able to take advantage of it. And precisely that is what is being done. You see, then in public transport system, there is a complete kind of commitment that we should be going in for change of these buses. In Delhi alone, in the last 4 years, from 150 we have moved on to 2,500 buses. Yesterday, if you recollect, then Honorable Chief Minister, she initiated buses for U specials. 3 months back, Honorable Prime Minister, he flagged off 400 what we call Devi buses. So, lot of things are going on, and all these multiple technology options, they are not divergent to each other. We attempt so that they kind of, they complement to each other in taking that clean mobility aspiration forward.
Okay, in fact, that would have been my next question on how or what is the roadmap strategy for the overall transport system. You've already answered that. Let me go across to Mr. Gulati now. And since we are talking about EVs and hybrids becoming more and more mainstream, taking us closer to our clean and green goals, Mr. Gulati, what kind of transformation do you now see happening in the dealer network, the auto retail network in the country?
So practically, I feel the transformation is over now. Most of the dealers are selling electric vehicles. Most of them are trained. Like we said, now Maruti dealers are all service setups are up. So the vehicles will be starting selling. So transformation, whatever was happening for the past 5-6 years, within by this year end, I feel 80% of the dealers will be having an electric vehicle which will be selling. And major transformation has happened in the customer side also. Before, a customer walked in a showroom and we had to tell them that this is an EV when you want to try it and try to sell it. Whereas as of today, people are coming on it their own if they want to buy a vehicle, and they are wanting to know if this brand has an electric vehicle or not, and should I choose an electric vehicle over an ICE. Obviously, hybrid is a different story because not all OEMs have it, but ICE and EV is one, both the technology is present at almost all the OEMs today, and so means all the dealers. So if we see around 10,000 odd outlets, or maybe around 6,000-7,000 outlets car dealers have, most of them today are selling or promoting EVs. So transition has already happened. Now there are a lot of myths which are just holding up to their shifting from ICE to EV, which slowly and steadily, like Maruti coming up with 1,000 service centers and charging, that will give the confidence a customer needs. Because very frankly, even today, the EVs are driven around 200 to 300 or 400 kilometers on a charge. The problem is only a resistance in mind that if I get stuck, then what? Whereas a normal customer doesn't need per day more than 100 kilometer max. But still, that confidence is lacking. With Maruti coming in with all the workshops having charging stations, and Maruti being the 40% of the market share, 40% of the customers, going through the workshop, seeing the charging station will help us convert more customers to EVs. And if you realize, in the past 1 year or 2 years, whenever an OEM starts selling EV, the growth rate of adoption increases. So today, Mahindra came in Jan or Feb, and you see around doubling the interest of customers, and our ratio of products also as compared to ICE going up.
Okay.
With Maruti coming in and Hyundai is also there. So I feel that ratio which we talk about 4 to 5% should go up to 10% very fast. And,
so how are we addressing those concerns, Mr. Bharti? If there is skepticism, if there is hesitation in the minds of consumers, how are we addressing those challenges and several other challenges relating to, say, charging infrastructure? Also, there are questions about the pricing. So all in all, how are we addressing all of these hesitations and challenges?
See, first of all, let me say the Indian customer is quite evolved, and they're ready to absorb new technology, new concepts. And I think Dr. Sena will also agree with me. There are many such examples in the past. You would have seen, grandmothers with tablets and iPads. So technology absorption will happen at a fast pace. I think it is our responsibility as the provider to give the Indian customer the confidence. As I mentioned, post-purchase measures of confidence like E for Me campaign, 24/7 assistance, a mobile service van, trained technicians, all these measures are meant to give confidence. And I agree with Mr. Gulati also. Sometimes supply creates its own demand. So if there are more and more options, the customer will think this is the way to go. So to a large extent, it is up to us to drive that change. Secondly, if, for example, if the customer sees that the product that I am going to buy is also the choice of about customers across 100 countries of the world, then probably it's the right thing to do. So that gives confidence. So it's confidence that matters most. Having said that, let me acknowledge that there are some real problems that may not have easy solutions, but let's not be overly concerned about those problems. Charging infrastructure, for example. Now, even the chargers that we have today are highly underutilized. It's a chicken and egg story, which is fine. We will have to live with this problem for some time. There are debates whether we should concentrate in the cities or we should develop highways. These debates will continue and people will have their opinions. Private sector investment will come in, banks and financing models, government support will come in. It's a matter of time. Like many other problems that India solved, this will also get solved.
Okay, let me hear from Dr. Sinha on how we are addressing this challenge. If it's a chicken and egg story, how do we convince the consumer? Ultimately, we've seen that there is a massive increase in the number of sales of two-wheelers and three-wheelers as far as EVs are concerned. But so that it is replicated in the bigger vehicles also, how are we making sure that the consumer who is to buy is aware of the infrastructure and we are able to address the hesitations that they have in mind?
So one thing is, of course, initiating a kind of awareness campaign that is very, very important. So we do have, not that we don't have at the national level, multiple states they have initiated their own campaign. We have a Shunya campaign from Niti Aayog, that is where Niti Aayog is coordinating into that. Of course, that is led by the industry. We have Shunya Pathshala, where we are, going to the PM Shri Kendriya Vidyalayas. We are talking to the 11th, 12th class students and telling them, showing them that, you see, this is what is going to be the new India. This is the kind of vehicles that would be there. And these are not only, PowerPoint presentation. We are showing them the actual vehicle. We are letting them have the touch and feel. So almost, I think, some 35 schools have been covered in Delhi, and gradually we will take a move forward. So we have to go in for a lot of, these kind of awareness initiative has to be there. And because there was an issue of affordability, that is the price dropping down, that will only come with two major initiatives. One is the technological innovation that we have to go in for. Number two is the relevant and I would say attractive business models. So can we think of battery as a service? If battery becomes a service, then immediately 30-35% of the upfront cost comes down, and you are using it on a subscription model. So multiple business, those kind of things will have to evolve, that they are on the job. So that is precisely that is the way forward on this.
Okay, that's a relevant point that you made. I'm going to pick up the innovation point and take it back to Mr. Bharti. With the E Vitara launch, definitely we've entered the global EV market. But the point here is that since we talk about transformation, we are able to achieve that when we set goals for ourselves. That has worked, we've seen in the past decade or so. In the next 10 years, where do you see India in terms of innovating? We were an importer, we now became a manufacturer. We are also exporting to a lot of other countries, 100 countries, the E Vitara will be going. But when it comes to a global hub, say as an innovator in clean and green mobility, what should be the way forward?
I couldn't agree more with you. I think India has to innovate. We need improvisations in battery technology. If there is an alternate chemistry that can make make the battery cost lower, reduce the consumption of some critical minerals, reduce the dependence on some critical minerals, make India more self-reliant and Aatmanirbhar as respect to other countries, that will help. I would also say that this innovation has to be with really, original thinking, and as the Prime Minister at one point of time said, remove all traces of colonial hangover. So whatever clean energy source be it, even if it is, for example, bioenergy or biofuels, we have to apply our fresh thinking on that and see if it makes sense for India, if India is uniquely positioned for that. Similarly, hydrogen. I mean, many countries are now thinking of making a jump. Can India think of hydrogen? Is it how does the viability work out if the entire system works out? Other technologies, hybrid. In hybrids, for example, and Dr. Sinha may be very happy to know that we have put up a capacity of 1.8 crore cells manufacturing every year in Gujarat. And these cells, we've localized the electrode also. So there's very low level of dependence on the outside world. So can we have chemistries, or can we have energy solutions, or as he rightly said, business models that can improvise, that can give us a step jump in innovation in our journey for clean mobility.
Absolutely. And if we have to achieve the goals that we have set for ourselves, both the short term and the long term ones, what's important is that we look at these options not just as an alternative option, but as a concrete solution, localized solutions that will give us a green and clean future. With that, we'll have to wrap up the conversation.
Solutions for it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So with that, we'll have to wrap up the conversation. Time allows me to take up only that much on the program today. Thank you once again to all my guests for joining me on the program, sharing your thoughts, your views and your valuable suggestions with us and our viewers. And to you viewers, thank you very much as always for your time as well.